Hi, Bernd.
Hi, Bernd.
Sorry, this is an overdue reply to your email that you sent many weeks ago. So myself and David are together today in Lincoln. So we thought we would send you a video response.
Yeah, as a kind of a different way to rather than just respond to your email with another email.
Yeah.
Might be nicer just to see our faces and we can have just a chat about it, really.
Yeah.
I think in your note you mentioned the article that we wrote. I think you probably just seen the electronic version, right?
Yeah.
We've got a paper handout one as well, it looks a bit better actually in paper form.
Yeah, it does.
And we appreciate your feedback about what you liked and what you found confusing. I think it's helpful. I think in general, we're just experimenting with ways of communicating this type of work. And we're using video, for example, to communicate out what we're learning in Lincoln. But we're also playing with more traditional forms. And that was one of the more traditional forms of what we're doing.
Yeah, so it was. I think we've mentioned to you that we're doing some work in Lincoln, and a sort of communications expert that we know called Rosemary. She went and interviewed the guys that we'd been working with there, and just to get some feedback and a flavour, I guess, of what they're learning and experiencing through working with us. Like David said, as a way of communicating it more traditionally. So the article itself went to the leaders across PG and PS in the UK, and some of them read it, some of them didn't, and we've also had some interest from another division in the UK who have seen it, asking questions about what we did, what we went through to get to the point where the article was written. And I think we're still wondering now how we use that article going forward. Do we distribute it widely, or what we do with it? So.
And in your mail, you mentioned some sort of infographic that might be helpful. And one of the things we're just starting to play with is we've been making videos for a couple of months now, but we are playing with the idea of making a video of a kind of a whiteboard and an electronic whiteboard and communicating some kind of core ideas. So there's a framework that we use quite a lot called Stacy Matrix. And it's about placing complexity relative to other ways of thinking, I think. And I think most of the work we're doing is in the area of complexity. So it helps people understand the nature of the work that we're doing. And we've shown it to people who haven't had much exposure to this. And I think it's been confusing, if anything. But we showed it to Carl Ennis and the leaders of the PG and PS BUs in the UK a couple of weeks ago, and I think because they've been doing this work for a while now, they found it really valuable. And we can send you a link to that video as well. But we've made a short video communicating a kind of an idea using some rich infographics maybe. And again, all of these things I think we're looking at as just really experiments. There's not a lot of people asking us for this stuff. We're trying to understand what triggers interest within the organisation and within Siemens. And I guess we'll just keep learning from those experiences as we go along.
Yeah.
Right. Sounds like the LEC stuff is really moving as well, and good to hear that you're involved in the PG global meeting, which I think is in June.
Yes.
So Karen Vanstone has mentioned that to us, but we're not invited, and at this stage we're definitely not going because of the dates and whatever. But it'd be really interesting to hear what influence you guys have on that, what your experience is in it, and what the outcomes are.
And also how I don't know if you're facilitating it, the whole thing or anything like that, but how the whole thing is run. I think it'd be interesting because we had a leadership forum back in November, and that was run really differently, and Karen was involved in that as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that sort of style of event is going across to sort of HQ, and hopefully Carl's going to that. I don't know if he is. We haven't asked him, but I'm guessing he will be going to it. So it'd be interesting to speak to him before about what he's planning on kind of taking as insights himself, and also afterwards maybe.
Yeah, it'd be great if you and or Reimar could spend a bit of time with Carl, just inquiring with him and what's he noticing in the UK going on, and just to hear from him. So that's good. And I guess in June there's also the Alex event
In
in
Copenhagen,
Copenhagen, and I don't know. I think that's not really that week. We're particularly busy, aren't we? We've got a few different things going on, which we were going to invite you to, but actually it's clear you'll be busy as well, if unless there's been a replanning for that. But yeah, we in that week I think we're going to be in Newcastle, picking up some stuff that Ashridge did with some people in Siemens around leadership, and just it was kind of training and development, and the people that were involved in that are getting back together with some of the Ashridge academics to kind of reflect on, since the training, which was probably a couple of months ago, how have things been, how has it helped, and we're going to be part of just hearing about that with Carl as well, and then later on that week, we're going to Gwinty Moor, where we were last week, which is an offshore wind farm, I think the second largest in the world. And we're doing work with the team on site there. And that would be maybe a good place for you and or Reimar to come along as well, and join in and see what goes on.
yeah.
And then, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I was just going to say, I think if you couldn't come to one of those things, Carl will be having another management meeting probably in September. So that would also be an option for you to come along to. We'll let you know the dates as soon as we know them.
Yeah. So that's really it from my side, I think.
Yeah, me too.